so today I thought I would finally do my Q&A video. Both the girls are still sleeping, so I'm gonna try to go through as many of these as I possibly can, and I'm trying to not elaborate on any of them so I can get through them quickly, but no promises. We know that I like to talk. So the first question, and this is on YouTube, I'll say if I switch to like Instagram or Facebook, but the first question is, how can I build a stash while nursing my baby at home before I return to work? How can I make time to pump? The way you can build a stash, if you're nursing and you plan on returning or you're going somewhere, whatever it may be, you need to stock up on milk, is pumping after your nursing session. It's going to be normal to get little to nothing at first, but you also don't want to create a huge oversupply. An oversupply can damage a perfectly working nursing relationship, so it's very important you keep that balance. As far as making time to pump, that's kind of a hard question. It's kind of something you just have to make a priority. If you don't make it a priority, you're not going to get around to it. And I mean, it's just kind of like each their own. I kind of look at it as non-negotiable. It's just something I have to do, so I make the time for it. Also, I let the people around me know what to expect, whether it be friends, family, whoever. Like, this is what I need to do, and this is how I have to do it. The next question is, what made you decide to exclusively pump? With Sophie, it was just the fact that I wanted to continue to give her breast milk, but nursing obviously wasn't an option with her lip tie. And when it came to Remy, I liked exclusively pumping. We knew exactly how much Sophie had to eat, how much, like how often, and just all those kind of details. Mark also enjoyed feeding the girls, and I don't know, it was a lot of different reasons, but it boiled down to it was what I was most comfortable with, and it's just what I wanted to do. My husband was on board and supported me, so that's what I went with. Someone asked, they were between a Medela Freestyle and a Spectra S1, and they didn't know which one was better for building supply and keeping up milk supply. If you are not needing to be mobile and pumping all the time, I would just go with the S1 because it's going to last you like a long haul. The Freestyle isn't technically meant for frequent or exclusive pumpers, but I mean, I have known people to use either or and it works just fine for them, but personally, I would suggest the Spectra S1. Next question, how do you and hubby make time for each other when you have to pump every 2 to 3 hours? Like I said in the beginning, it just kind of becomes a way of life, and he's pretty used to it, and he just, I don't know, he's a kind of go with the flow kind of guy, and he doesn't really give me much crap and he's very supportive of my pumping, so we don't ever really have friction over it. And when the girls go to bed, we do try to make it a point to sit down and do something together, and whether it's playing board games, playing video games, watching TV shows, whatever we decide to do after the girls go to sleep, I pump during that, and I try not to let it affect the fact that we are having time together. So if we're playing a board game, I'll get on the floor and I'll pump there if I need to pump, or if we're playing video games, I will pump while we are playing video games. I really don't care. So we just make it work, I guess, is the best answer. Next question, I exclusively pump for twin boys and they seem to be coming down with a cold. Does my body know to change milk to help them, like when baby latches? Once you're done pumping, will you continue to do breastfeeding videos? Yes, your body will know what kind of milk to make as long as you're just giving them kisses and that loving. You're going to get the saliva in your mouth. I mean, at least my kids definitely don't mind sharing it, but it's going to know how to make those things. And as far as me continuing breastfeeding videos when I'm weaned, yes, I do plan on doing that. There was about a year's time between when I was weaned from pumping for Sophie and when I started pumping again for Remy, so I was making pumping videos in there. I might slow down a little bit, but I will definitely still be making them because I would rather slow down and continually give you guys those videos until I'm breastfeeding again versus like cranking out a whole bunch and then you guys going months without having any at all, if that makes sense. The next mama has a few comments. Will you ever make a diaper review video? Yes, I will. I know you guys are some of the most patient people. I have so many different review ideas because they're all like coming to me like, man, I wish I had that and I want to do it. And then it's like, but then I get something else on my hands and I feel like, oh, I gotta put that up. I want you guys to see this. And it just gets a little crazy. But yes, but it also doesn't help that every time I feel ready to make that diaper review video, somebody else comes out with another natural diaper, so I feel the need to test them all. and that's a problem that I have with myself. And do you have any tips for a teething baby? Cold celery sticks from the fridge, an amber teething necklace, highly recommend that. Tylenol for the extremely rough nights, and just lots of love and cuddles, I guess. Those are the things that help the most. Remy was a chewer, and she chews on everything. She really likes those little raspberry teethers that looks like a binky. She really loved those. Basically anything she can chew on, she likes it. Sophie really wasn't a chewer. She drooled a ton though, and the Baltic Amber teething necklace helped with both of the girls. And the last question is, how often do you and your hubby get date nights? I don't know, Mark. How often do we get date nights?
Zero.
Zero, in case you didn't hear that. No, we go out. It's pretty far and few between, but like I said, we do try to make it a point to spend quality time at night together quite often throughout the week. And I would say like maybe every month to 2 months we'll go out and do something by ourselves. We actually have a concert that we're going to be going to next week. Yeah, next week. Super excited about that. Next question. What do you all like to do as family, or any plans for the summer? Activities you like to do with your kids in the summer? As far as any plans, I think we just wanted to go to the zoo again. Sophie really enjoyed it last summer when we went, and I feel like both the girls would really enjoy it together. I kind of want to go to some kind of like water park or something. I don't know. I want to do a couple things this summer, but nothing crazy, no like huge vacations. In my chit chat videos, I've mentioned that we're really working on some financial goals this year, so we're trying to keep that in mind, obviously. As far as like our favorite things to do, the park is by far and away Sophie's favorite thing. We like just getting food, eating there, spending all day, and just kind of hanging out at the park. She really could live there, honestly, if we let her. And as far as when we're at home, I guess the water table. Remy got a lot of outdoor toys for her birthday, so I feel like we're going to be spending more and more time outside. They love bubbles and stuff like that. Uh, just I feel like regular general summer activities. My kids are also still kind of young. Sophie's 2.5, Remy just turned 1, so there's not like a ton of stuff we can go out and do. Next questions, if you had to pick one, which would you say is your favorite diaper bag? Oh, girl, you're testing me. Number 2, which is your favorite sippy cup for the girls? And also, will you do any more day in the life videos? As far as the first question, if I had to pick just one. Oh my. Oh man, this is so hard. Okay, so this is actually a bag that I haven't shown a lot on my channel, but it is my Jujubee BFF. Stay with me. I know you guys have seen other bags more often, but if I had to get rid of all my other bags and keep just one, that is the one I would keep, because I am able to fit stuff for both girls in that bag comfortably. I can't pack a ton of stuff, but I can fit things for both girls, but it's also not super big. I can wear it because it has cushion backpack straps. That's how you say it. Backpack straps, but it also has a messenger, and I don't know, I feel like it's very roomy, but it's also machine washable, so I can just throw it in my washing machine, no problem. So if I had to get rid of all of them except one, that would definitely be it. And as far as my favorite sippy cup, spoutless sippy cups, more specifically the Wow sippy cups. I like the Munchkin 360, but they leak from time to time, and I just feel like the mechanism, like the silicone part, and the way it clicks into the plastic part of the rim, it's a little less hygienic and harder to clean than the Wow cup, and I don't have any problems with the Wow cup leaking, so I don't know. I like the Wow cup the most, I would say. And as far as will you be doing any more day in the lives? Yes, absolutely. I actually have one, I just haven't edited. When I got that mastitis, it really like put me behind in videos because I was out for like an entire week, and I had actually filmed a day in the life the day before that. So I wanted to do more for you guys. I have one I have to get up, but definitely leave recommendations down below for ones you would like to see. Moving on. How does your husband help you as far as exclusively pumping? What advice would you or your husband give about what to expect with an EP wife? And can you pump from baby being born? As far as how my husband helps me, there's a lot of different ways when it comes to EPing, but I would say the main way is support. There was a lot of times throughout this last year that I wanted to quit, and Mark just sat with me and told me to wait until I felt better and I was a little less emotional to make that decision. And I'm glad that I have someone like him who supports me and kind of knows me better than to just let me quit just because I'm having a bad day. He does everything from wash bottles if I'm sick and I need help, or feed Remy when she was younger, just everything all together. He's just been great. When I was actually in the hospital with Sophie, I had no idea how to hook up my pump, and he was the one who learned how to like put it together, and he actually helped me pump for the very first time ever. And that's kind of just a special memory that I have. But he's incredibly supportive, and I feel like a lot of our conversations of just being candid and telling him that this is how things are going to be, and being upfront and honest and seeing that this is what works best for me in a way to give our daughter something we both want her to have, it's helped a lot. And as far as what would we give, what advice, give a lot of patience to each other, I think is something that I would say. As far as what advice I would give your husband is to be patient with you and understand that it's a learning process for you. And just the same when it comes to you, just understand that it's going to take your husband a little while to understand and adapt to a new way of life. And you can most definitely pump from birth. I have a video on that. I'm going to link my EP series because I did get a ton of EP questions. I'm just gonna have that linked because I have a ton of videos, and if you don't see one, message me. I will try and make it for you guys. But yeah, I think that's it for that long-winded answer. Next, how did you start your YouTube channel as a mom? What made you want to start one? Is this your full-time job besides being a mama? As far as how did I start it, with push from my husband, I actually wanted to make a beauty channel like forever ago. And he was always telling me to do that, and I just never did. And then I got pregnant, and like I've mentioned before, there was just a lot of things missing that I wanted to see on YouTube as far as product reviews, or when I started exclusively pumping, there was like no information on YouTube about it and stuff like that. I just felt like there was a real lack of videos that I felt like would be super helpful for moms. It's definitely thanks to Mark that this channel even exists. And is this your full-time job besides being a mama? I would say definitely so. It didn't start off that way, I guess I should say. It started off as, I think, once a week I would upload, and that's what I was comfortable with. I have never done anything more than what I wanted to do with my channel, and that's something that I really have tried to keep in mind. I don't want to get burnt out. I don't want to not like doing this for you guys. So I just work at my pace and what I'm willing to do. Because if I'm not a mom and a wife first, I would have no content to give you guys. So that's something I've always tried to keep in mind. My kids are now up from their naps. But next question, what do you take to boost your supply if it ever gets low? Also, how do you keep both kids entertained while you pump? As far as what I take, I don't take anything at all. I don't take any supplements. I tried it with Sophie when I was slacking off and not pumping enough, and I had a low supply. Didn't see any kind of results, so I just started pumping more frequently, and that's what worked for me. As far as when I'm sick or something and my supply gets low, I don't worry about it, and I just stick to my schedule, and I just try to stay hydrated, eat my caloric intake, and just keep to my schedule no matter what I seem to be getting in the bottles. Make sure I empty well, and basically that's it. But as far as how do I keep both kids entertained, I actually have a video coming on that. But basically my toddler likes movies, coloring, snacks, her trampoline. I'm looking around the room and I feel like I'm forgetting something. And Remy basically just follows her older sister around. But basically a lot of snacks, a Moana movie, and a trampoline can go a long way. Next question, how long do you plan on breastfeeding Remy? Do you have any tips or tricks for weaning little ones? What are you replacing breast milk with? As far as how long I plan to keep pumping for, I don't really know. It's kind of up in the air right now. When I got that mastitis, I would have told you right then and there I'm weaning. But I decided to hold off, and now I'm kind of unclear. But I think I want to wean around a year and a half. I feel like that's what I'm probably going to end up doing to give myself a little bit of time between getting pregnant again and weaning. So that's what I'm leaning towards as far as any tips and tricks on weaning the little ones. Sophie kind of put up a fight about weaning off of breast milk. We had to slowly add whatever milk we wanted to her breast milk and slowly outweigh the breast milk to other milk ratio, or she would not take it at all. I feel like that was like a week or two process, and then she got used to the almond milk. And as far as what we're going to give Remy in place is almond milk. Just not a huge fan of cow's milk. My girls just don't do well on it. They have a lot of gas, and Sophie gets constipated and sometimes even diarrhea. I personally don't digest it well either, so I'm just gonna stick with almond milk. We like, oh, who makes it? I can't even think of who makes it, but it's a non-GMO almond milk, which is important to me. So that's what we will be going with for little Miss Remy. The next question is the recommendations on manual pumps. I personally don't respond that well to manual pumps, but out of the ones I have tried, I would say the Medela Harmony. Next question, how did you handle exclusively pumping through the night? How did you feed baby through the middle of the night? And also pump, did your husband handle the feeds and you pump? As far as handle exclusively pumping at night, I would pump and he would feed her, basically is how it would work. I know that some people feel a certain kind of way about dad feeding baby and whatever, but Mark and I are very 50-50 in everything that we do. We help each other out, and I am up pumping, I'm supplying that milk. So I was always one feeding ahead of her though, so whatever I was pumping, I had already had a bottle made for her from the previous session. So not every time did she wake up was I pumping, and not every time was I pumping did she need to be fed. So we would wake up different times sometimes, but generally I would feed her up until about 12 o'clock, and then I would sleep, and I would just worry about pumping until he went to work at 6 o'clock, and then that's when I would take over pumping and feeding again. But we just split it 50-50 because my husband rocks, and I don't know, that's just the way we do it. And then the most asked question that I got on YouTube was, how can I build up a breast milk stash before going back to work if I'm exclusively pumping and don't have an oversupply? That just means that you have to somehow stimulate that oversupply so you can start putting away milk. I have a whole video on how to increase your breast milk supply, and I would just try to troubleshoot first. Make sure that you have all your basics in line, that your flange is the correct size, that you're lubing the tunnels with coconut oil, that you're emptying every session, that you're pumping long enough, that you're pumping as often as you should be depending on how far postpartum you are. There is a ton of things that go into troubleshooting, but I'll have that video linked down below for you guys. I know that it's hard. It's very, very hard when you have that low supply and you just want to be putting away milk. I have been there before. Just know that you're doing an awesome, awesome job. And like I said, definitely check out that video because I go into great, great detail about all the different things you can check out. I go over supplements you can take if you're to that point. Over on Instagram, the first question is tips to keep supply up during that time of the month. I'm just going to insert this infographic that's from that breastfeeding support group that I've talked about before called Breast Bottle and Beyond. This is an infographic that was created from the creator Josie, and you can take this during your time of the month and it might be able to help you. It might not help everybody, but just keeping up your caloric intake, your water intake, and just kind of powering through it. I notice a dip sometimes. I try not to worry about it because I feel like stressing out only makes it worse, but definitely try that if you haven't already. Next question, what are some of your must-have products for swimming? Also, advice for pumping at the pool. Any other products or advice you love or must-haves for summertime? As far as products for swimming, my girls actually don't have the opportunity to swim a whole lot during this summer. Oh my gosh. I'm talking so fast, I'm running my words together. Just want to answer all your guys' questions, but they don't really swim that often, but a good sunscreen, I like Honest Company, Baby Organics, Badger, I'm trying to think, there's one more, California Baby. I don't know if I said that one already. Love all those. Swim diapers, obviously, I definitely want to try out Baby Organics disposable swim diapers because I'm not a huge fan of the Pampers brand or Huggies. Who makes them? Either or. Not really a fan of either of those brands. So I definitely want to try those out. A good sun hat, good bathing suit, a float or a raft or some kind of swimming device to help the girls swim, even though obviously one of us is in the pool with them. And as far as pumping at the pool, having some kind of portable pump and a cover that would be, I think, really great is a Covered's Good cover. It is a 360 cover, so you could sit forward, you could be in your chair, no problem, and you're going to be covered from completely around. If there's a breeze or anything, it's not just going to blow off. That way you can pump out in the open and you can be chilling there, no problem. And a hands-free bra might help, so you don't have to keep your hands under there the whole time. But as far as if people are giving you nasty looks, don't pay them no mind. They don't understand, obviously. You do your own thing, you go with your bad self. Pumping at the pool, girl, you are dedicated, so don't worry about them. And as far as products or advice that I love during summertime, I hate summertime. I hate being hot. So anything to keep me cool, I'm down for. My girls love their water table, sandals, play sandals. I'm gonna have to insert like a picture right here of what I'm talking about, but I love these sandals for the summertime. It's like a cross between a sneaker and a sandal. Keeps their toes protected and still casual enough to like play on the playground with and stuff like that, but just good sunblock, man. That's all I really concern myself with, and some cheap clothes from Walmart because they're all gonna get ruined anyways. The next question is, what do you think about people's general attitudes towards pumping? What do you think needs to change so that people have a better understanding of it and so that moms and families can better receive overall support? Also, what is your view on people who have pumped for a significant amount of time, talking about it in a negative way, saying it was the hardest thing they've ever done? So as far as what do I think of people's general attitudes about it, a lot of people don't understand it. I feel like it's a more modern take on breastfeeding. It's not necessarily new. Obviously, people have been pumping for a very long time now, but I feel like it's becoming a more viable and first pick for some moms, whether no matter what people choose to exclusively pump for, I feel like it just fits better for some people than nursing. And some people don't understand that. Some people don't understand nursing. So I feel like there's always going to be that little misunderstanding about it, but the best you could do is educate and kindly do it. I find that if someone's ignorant about breastfeeding, you're not going to change their mind. You're not just going to make them like, aha, have an epiphany. So the best you can do is just educate them. And if they want to be ignorant about it, they can be in their own little ignorant world. And you can just educate and move on and be confident in your decision. I think the only thing that could change is maybe education, having that resources more readily available so people could understand it better, or maybe be able to talk to other people or other families. And I feel like that's why online support groups are very, very awesome. I recommend them a ton for that. And as far as the last question, what is my view on people who say that it was the hardest thing they've ever done? I feel like it's not my place to judge how someone else perceives something, because someone's own truth is their reality. So them saying that it's the hardest thing that they've ever done, they wouldn't recommend it, whatever, that is their truth. That's how they honestly feel about it. I feel like they're definitely not wrong in feeling that. But I try to take a different approach. I try to look at exclusively pumping as a way for me to feed my daughter, and I feel like kind of keeping that positive outlook helps me pump more often. It helps me not get into a rut more often. I feel like if I'm more thankful for the opportunity to have a pump and to do this for my daughter, I feel less stressed about it. So I feel like keeping a positive attitude is obviously going to help you, but it's also not always doable. It is a very hard thing. A lot of people are also mourning a nursing relationship, so they might have like a resentment towards the pump, which I can totally understand. So there's just a lot of messy feelings that go into pumping. So I understand where everybody's coming from, but I personally try to keep a more positive outlook on it and feel fortunate that I have those resources available to me to do it. And I feel like that helps me keep a more motivated attitude towards it. Next question, have you ever used cloth diapers? No, and I need to. I need to. As much as I like to want to be green and I want to go plastic free this year and I want to do all those crazy things, I need to quit using disposable diapers. I need to get with it. I always make an excuse not to do it though, so we'll see. Hopefully I can push myself into making myself try them with the next baby. Next question on Instagram, when should one give up on breastfeeding and pumping? Is it better to pump both breasts at the same time or individually? That first question, I would say if it is starting to affect your mental and emotional health, there's no shame in weaning. There's no shame in weaning for whatever reason you want to wean. Breast milk is an amazing thing, but your kids need their mom first. So if you need to give your child formula, then by all means, you go and you rock it, mama, because if that's what needs to be done, it needs to be done. There's no shame in it whatsoever. I don't understand the judgment and everything that moms decide to do. I don't know why minding your own business isn't a thing. Sounds a little harsh, but it's true. And as far as is it better to pump both breasts at the same time or individually, that just kind of depends. If you're an average mom with not too much of an oversupply, definitely pumping both breasts at the same time is more efficient. But if you're like me, I have a massive oversupply, I cannot pump both at the same time. I do not empty. I will get clogs. It'll be so bad. So I personally have to pump individually, and I like it that way. I don't mind the extra time. So do whatever you feel like is best. I'm going to head over to Facebook now and see if I have any questions there. There's just two questions on Facebook. One being, can I go from exclusively nursing to EP without the nurse and pump routine? Yes, you can. You're just going to have a stash. That way you can start giving baby bottles immediately. And then you're just going to have to pump as frequently as you should versus how far postpartum you are. And the last and final question is, how did you and Mark meet? When did you guys start dating and get married? Do you think you would ever do vlogging? I know you talked a little bit about it, but did you decide against it? As far as how did Mark and I meet, we met at our job. We worked at a pizza shop together, and there's a lot of good memories in that. We were friends first. I bugged him a ton. Typically at that pizza shop, a delivery driver and a waitress is there together in the morning to make the pizza dough and to work together and get it all done for the day. And there was a lot of mornings where it was him and I together, just alone, and you know, you just have that time to kind of talk to each other about whatever you want. And it was great kind of like learning process, and there was just so many conversations I can remember, like reflecting back to it, and just funny times. And I don't know, that's the long answer of how we met. When did you guys start dating? We talked for a little while, and we were texting just as friends and stuff, and we would always say that we wanted to do these random things. It was like a wine and cheese night, and then we said we wanted to go to this local restaurant and eat and have a movie night and just do all these different things. And one day he just invited me over to his house to have steak and potatoes for dinner and play video games, and that's what I went over and did, and the rest is history, I guess. And when did we get married? We got married in December 12th of 2015, although we don't really celebrate that at all. We just celebrate our original anniversary. He's been my husband for as long as I can remember, and that day was more about just celebrating our relationship and making it legal. Like I said, he's kind of been my husband for as long as I can remember. We started dating on August 22nd of 2011. Yes? Yes. I always get mixed up on the year. But yeah. So this August will be 6 years together. And do you think about vlogging? Yes, I definitely do want to vlog. The thing is that my house, I obviously have weird lighting and a lot of low lighting at night. So I would need to get something that's good with that. That is an expensive camera. And I feel like right now I don't deserve that. I haven't made a vlog yet. I don't know how well they would do on my channel. I don't pick up my camera, this one that I'm filming on right now, enough to see like if I like vlogging and stuff. So I really need to push myself and either vlog with this or vlog with my phone and really put some out to see if I can be consistent, see if it's, you know, people are even interested in it. Guys, I have a pretty boring life. I don't think you understand. And there's also things like the girls wouldn't be in it. You know, we're just not comfortable showing the girls excessively on the channel. So, I don't know. It is something that I want to get into, but to get a nice vlogging camera, it's something that I definitely want to work towards. So my battery is yelling. Those are all the questions from all my social media. I hope that you guys enjoy the video. Today was a pretty long filming day, and this is looking to be about 40 minutes long, so hopefully I can make it shorter for you guys. I just want to take a minute to thank all you guys, whether you've been around from the start or you just joined me. Your guys' support means a lot. You guys are some of the most supportive and friendly people that I've ever had the pleasure of talking to. I definitely appreciate seeing some of you frequent flyers, and when you comment, it makes my day. But that is everything that I have for this Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.